Then came, in 2014, the North Korean attack on Sony. And this was a real seminal moment for the United States government, because it's when the Obama administration came face to face with the fact that it really didn't know how to categorize these attacks. Now, some of you may remember that attack because it began with the production of a really terrible movie called The Interview. Anybody here seen it? Wow, better yet, some of you are willing to admit to it. That's good. For those of you who have not seen it, I can now save 2 hours of your life. You can go off and watch something else, but basically the premise of this is that two journalists go off to interview Kim Jong-un. This was before he and the President of the United States fell in love with each other. And they are sent off in the movie to actually go try to assassinate him. I've spent 35 years, 36 years in newsrooms in the United States. If you were going to hire a group of people to be hitmen, I can't think of a group that would be less qualified for the job or more likely to screw it up, okay? But anyway, that's the movie. The North Koreans got very upset. They did the natural thing you would do if you wanted to stop a movie from coming out in the United States. They wrote a letter to the Secretary General of the United Nations and asked him to block the movie. They soon discovered just how deeply influential the Secretary General is in Hollywood. And when that didn't work, they sent out a team. We now know the members of the team because they were indicted 4 years later by the Justice Department, to China and to Malaysia and Thailand. And they mounted a very careful, patient attack on the Sony computer systems. An attack that they spent months inside the system, mapping out just how the computers inside Sony are connected to the accounting system, the production system, the archive of movies. They got into the email system. They released some of the emails. This is how we discovered the earth-shaking news that Angelina Jolie can be very difficult to work with on the set. But it was an interesting sort of foreshadowing of what the Russians later did in the 2016 election. And then just around Thanksgiving in 2014, people came into Sony, saw a gruesome picture that they had put up of the head of the president of Sony. They showed sort of a severed head and a long description of all the reasons that some group was attacking Sony. It was all a distraction to keep the workers who came in the morning from realizing that their hard drives were being erased. And the only people whose data was saved were the ones who reached behind the computer and did the high-tech thing of unplugging the computer. 70% of Sony's computer systems were wiped out in about 2.5 minutes. They had to turn out their paychecks that week by going down in the basement and finding those old paycheck machines, right, that we used to use in the 70s. This was fascinating. It was a political act. They were trying to stop a movie. The government did not know how to respond. The briefers who went down to see Obama had to explain that they were there to brief him on a really bad movie as sort of the start of all of this. In fact, Obama said, "How do you know it's a really bad movie?" And the briefer said, "It's a James Franco movie, sir." Then Obama said, "Well, this just sounds like vandalism." But he knew it was something more than that. And in the end, he showed up in the press room just before he went on vacation to Hawaii one day in December and announced sanctions against the North Koreans that I doubt the North Koreans felt amid all the other sanctions we do against North Korea.